Welcome to Rev Up Your Potential with Hilda Gann, the stories about entrepreneurs, business leaders, and HR professionals and their successes and struggles along their journey. In this podcast, we also discuss the HR challenges that people face and the tips and strategies that have helped them. If you love to learn through storytelling, join us. Today, my guest is Tam Luc. She is an international speaker, a best-selling author multiple times over, and we'll get into that later. And she is the owner of and CEO of Deluc Media. Welcome, Tam, to my show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so glad that you are here. Let's get started by asking you to share a little bit about your business and your let's just start with your business. Tell the group what you do.
Well, I have a background in marketing, went to school for marketing, always loved marketing. I did it on the side though, because I was in corporate America for many years. So I love helping women, and there's a whole story to why that's happened. But I love helping women to build their businesses to 5-figure days, weeks, and months. But I use a very unique book messaging strategy that I learned along the way when I was building my own business.
Okay, you talked about this unique book strategy. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, I loved to write. I was in gifted English and communication classes, and from elementary school through high school, I only thing I really thought I could do was write. I thought I was really good at it, so I went to college for English. My first year in college, my English professor said that you don't want to be an English professor. Writers are broke. He probably was just projecting. So I ended up changing to marketing, but nevertheless, I still love to write. It was my passion for many, many years. But I always had in the back of my mind, writers are broke, you don't want to do that. So I didn't pursue it. My mom kept asking me to publish. You have to publish, Tam. Well, because I got a degree in marketing, I didn't get one in English, I didn't have a PhD. In my mind, I was never good enough to publish. So, but I kept writing. So I had journals and discs, everything worth of just information and writing content that I'd written for many, many years. My mom passed away was in 2016, and that is when I finally got the um, the nerve, the nerve to publish. So I got a coach. It was the scariest thing that I ever did. I went through the whole process. I got to #1 bestseller on Amazon. I thought, wow. But during the process, though, I learned something about myself. I started working with coaches and got really clear on not just my story, because that's one thing, because I know my story, but my message. So before that moment, 2016, I had been an entrepreneur, done many, many types of businesses, network marketing, sold chocolate, was an investor. I mean, I did every single thing you could possibly imagine, just trying to be successful, right? But when I wrote my book and I really understood what my message was, that what I realized was, oh my goodness. The reason why I hadn't been successful up till that time is because I didn't know what I was trying to say. That became very important. What are you doing? What are you trying to say? What are you bringing into this world? What is your reason for being here? Why do you keep choosing these type of businesses over the other businesses? So I got clear on that. I learned what I was trying to say. Then I
So
learned who
what
needed
were
to
you
say
trying
that.
to say? What became your message?
Yeah, my message is your story has the power to change people's life. Okay,
Wow.
why did I come up with that? Where did that come from?
Wow.
My mom, I watched my mom get physically abused when I was a little kid. My mom was a very sweet woman, very nice woman. I went through difficulties and ups and downs in my life. I was a nice person, right? I was never trying to do it. I was good in school. Why did I have to go through that? Why did my mom have to go through that? Why do people have to go through this? Right? But then I realized when I started sharing my story with people, they were changed. They were helped. I saw light bulbs come on. I saw that they were better some kind of way. So I realized that, wait a minute, the story's not just for me, it's also for me to share other people. But remember, I was a writer. So then the connection between me writing and writing and writing and writing and never sharing, right? I thought, well, why am I doing all this writing and I'm never sharing? Because if I share it, then I have the possibility of changing people's life. And I saw that same line coming up for me over and over throughout my life. So finally, that was my message that came up. That's what you're trying to say. And so that gave me not only a platform to stand on, it gave me a drive, it gave me the fire to keep going, because I have to keep telling that to people. I have to keep making it okay for them to share their story.
Did you
Mhm.
always like? You wanted to be a writer and you wanted to publish. Was there an entrepreneurial spirit back then, or did that kind of evolve as you continue to go on your journey of life?
Was always an entrepreneur. My parents were entrepreneurs. I was a little kid, I was selling art on the corner. You know, you got went to elementary school, you have put a bunch of paint on a piece of paper and you fold it in half and you open this a beautiful butterfly. I thought that was beautiful and I thought that everybody else should too. So I was trying to sell those for 25 cents a piece.
Did you
And when I
sell
was in
any?
middle school, I did. The next door
Of
neighbor,
course
he
you
bought
did.
one. And then that was the first time I realized that location counts because we lived on like a side street and there's no cars that came down that street. I said, "Mom, can we go up to Kemper Road, which is like really busy road?" She's like, "No." And then I started trying to sell candy in middle school. So I went to I went grocery store in the morning with my little money, bought a bag of candy, and kids get like tired during the day or they want a little candy. I started selling candy at school, so I was a candy kid. So yeah, it's always entrepreneur. That was all part of it.
Now, what would you say are some of the maybe successes along the journey and the struggles along this journey to entrepreneurship?
There's a lot of successes and struggles. Okay, this is a big one. I'll give the difficulty.
Okay,
2008. Everybody knows about 2008 and the
the
economic
big,
crash. Yeah.
yeah.
So so prior to that, I started my investment journey. I was able to. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe I'm so excited still. I didn't have any money, and I figured out how to make money from a real estate project that I was involved in. I started a hair salon, even though I do not do hair. I was,
That didn't
I got
stop you, right?
no, no, I just got a hair salon, hairstylist. She has no business, so I had her do the hair. I had the business. Then I sold her my part of the business and made 20K, flipped that money into some real estate, which ended up becoming five pieces of real estate. And next thing I know, I had a $500,000. So I went from zero to a $500,000 in a very short amount of time, like right about a year. And I was so proud of myself, and I was doing it. I had property manager, and I had all these people, all this stuff going on, flying back and forth to Ohio. Lived in California at the time, and then everything started to go the other direction. I lost my job. I lost my marriage. I lost my properties. Um, I lost my drive, my will. Was sleeping on my girlfriend's couch. Didn't think I could take care of myself. My husband was trying to take my kid away. I mean, you see how that went all the way around. Like I
Mhm.
had all that going on all the way to just to the dumps. And so that was a success and a fail. That taught me so much, by the way. That was necessary. I wish I didn't have to learn it that way, but that was a necessary lesson. And yeah, and then 2000 when this pandemic happened, I remembered that. I remembered how that felt, and I realized that I didn't have to lay down and die. I didn't have to bury myself in a hole. I didn't have to dig it and dig it deeper and get in there and start piling the dirt on top of me. I didn't have to. I did that because I stopped believing in myself. I did that, and I was not willing to boss up. I was bossing down, right? And so when when pandemic happened, I remembered that, and I said, "Oh no, you're not getting me again. You're not getting me again. No way, man." And that was March 2020, and I started to think. I remembered all the stuff my dad told me. My parents were really good entrepreneurs. My dad said, "Find a need and fill it. Find a need and fill it." Okay, we cannot do business like we were doing it yesterday. We are on lockdown. What can you do? You better boss up, or you're going to lay down and die again,
Did he
right?
say that? Are you going to
No,
boss up, or did you?
this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking as he said, find a need and fill it. That's what he said.
yeah.
And I said, that's exactly right. That's how you do business. And so, boom, like a dime, pivoted so fast. And then that's what her Women Who Boss Up came from. And my business went from a six-figure business to almost a seven figure business. And this has been happened only since 2020. It's only 2.5, 3 years. So it's amazing what happens. You can't boss down. You got to boss up.
Okay, so you're telling it like people know what Boss Up is,
Yeah.
and maybe I can just share the.
Yeah.
You are the creator of a series of books called Women Who Boss Up.
Yeah.
This one is number 7, I believe. It's called Post Pandemic, and
Yep.
one that I became an international best-selling author thanks to you, Tam.
Yay!
But you have created a series of books based on that first one you started in March. Why don't you talk about that?
Yes. So going back to my message again, your story has the power to change people's life, right? So
Yes.
March 2020 has happened. All of a sudden it occurred to me that women, this is how it actually started. I was sitting looking at the news, and everybody was freaking out.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember this one female was yelling at the reporter saying, "Oh my God, I gotta get to work." And she was freaking out. Okay. And the thing that came to me was, I don't need women to freak out. Women of all people cannot freak out. Women are too smart, too strategic, and we need women because they can get you out of anything. This is what I'm thinking. Women are amazing. So wanted to tell women at that moment, come on, girl, you got this. This is what I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like there were other women that wanted to say that too, right? So I went on Facebook and I posted some stuff, and bunch of women came to me. Who wants to be on my podcast? Who wants to be on? And I ended up with like 1,800 comments from that
Wow.
first post. And that's what started Women Who Boss Up. My very first book came from from some of those women from that who responded back to me. And I just got on the phone with them, and we pulled the first book together, Women Who Boss Up. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm onto something. And now we're working on books 11 and 12 already.
Impressive.
Mm,
Impressive.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Women who boss up healthcare, Latino women who boss up, Asian women who
Hmm.
boss up, international Asian women who boss up, women of
Hmm.
color. Wow, it's impressive. And you always set it up so that you're striving to get them to be international best-selling authors.
That's right.
I remember you saying that the reason why I think there's 16 in the book,
Hmm.
and I can remember you saying the reason I do that is that everybody gets their picture on the book. And
Yes.
16 is just the right size. 20 too small, 12, maybe too big. And 16 is the number that can be, as a collective, getting out there and sharing this book is coming out, right?
Yes, yes, because I wanted us women do well in community, right?
Yeah.
And we do very well if we do better when we're together. To also women, if they can promote their sister, they will actually promote harder than promoting themselves,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So
We're a
that's
little
the other
bit
thing.
kind of reluctant sometimes to shine,
That's
but
it.
we can shine when the others are shining, and we can help each other shine. Yeah,
That's
I
exactly
get it.
right.
I get it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I find myself, it's important for me to belong to a tribe or a community. During COVID, I was in, I think, 3 groups of separate, different kinds of coaching. Some were grants that I was part of, and I thought, I don't know how I would have survived if I didn't have something to look forward to reconnect with my tribe, to talk
Mhm.
about whatever. Each one had a different purpose in my life, but during COVID, that was so needed and so
Yes,
supported.
for
So
sure.
supported. Can I go back on, and people probably are saying, why didn't she talk a bit more? Now, you talked about your very low point, the point
Mhm.
where everything just fell apart.
Mhm.
How did you pick yourself up? I know you said, I'm not living that story again when it came to COVID. I ask you how you turned that around and how that became a
Yes.
life lesson that really has helped you and helped so many of us in return?
Yes. I'm gonna preface before I say this. Time is a real factor. Okay, time is real. And so I know a lot of times we get really anxious about learning the lesson or getting over what we're going through, but sometimes we need to learn it, you know.
Mhm,
And I needed for that to be impactful on me to the point where that impact has really pushed me now, right? That situation that happened. And also, it's allowed me to connect better with women and with people, and realize what it feels like to be at a very very low point in your life and in your business.
mhm.
So what was going on that time? I started doing a network marketing company because I'm still an entrepreneur. I'm still trying to figure out what I can do. So I found this network marketing company that I can be a part of a tribe. I can learn some things. It wasn't the right fit, but it was the perfect for the moment. The good thing about network marketing is it forces you to do personal development, right? So during that time, I was gobbling it up, trying to get my mindset straight, trying to get myself in a better place. So during that time, I was going to the meetings and doing the videos. I was also talking to some of the other people that were doing well in their businesses. There was a lot of people who are doing well in their businesses. I watched them walk in the door, pass me right up, and fly to the top. I thought, whoa, what? This stuff works. So I was very inspired. That also gave me belief that if you're consistent and you believe in yourself, I watched it happen 20, 30, 40, 50 times. I watched it and I knew it would work. If you're consistent and you believe in yourself, if you're dumb enough to actually not listen to the words that are going on in your head and not put the blocks up and the brakes on. So, one guy, he was my friend, he came in after me. He was one of those guys who was stalled at the beginning, his business wasn't going, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just took off like a lightning bolt. And I thought, so I took him to lunch. And that lunch became one of the most pivotal conversations that I've ever had. He told me three things that really stuck with me. Number one, Tam, your business does not need to look like everyone else's. Oh, man, what? Because I'm like trying to copy off everything else I'm seeing everyone else is doing. Number two, time is a real factor, right? That was a real thing. You have to know that some things take time. Number three, earned income is good income. It helps you to think, right? Because I was refusing to get a job because I'm an entrepreneur and I lost my job and these people suck and all these negative
Yeah,
things that
yeah,
I had in
yeah.
my brain, right? So I got a job. I got a job that didn't take me away from my business. I started to really focus. I started to be open to my business being different than anyone else's. Started listening to my heart. Um, I really started listening to my heart at that moment. It was stopping. I wasn't going so fast anymore because I was always in a hurry to be successful. I started listening, you know. I still use that to this day. I listen. Sometimes I really don't know what to do. But if you wait for a little bit and listen, God will give you the right answer. You will come. So, and you watch and you try to get away from the noise. So, all that came from there. So, to answer your question, how did I finally get out of that? I just kept doing a lot of personal development. I kept surrounding myself with positive people. I listened, you know, and when my mom passed away, the big listening was, Tam, you have to publish your book. That's what she told me when she passed. You have to publish your book. And it was loud enough and unobstructed enough for me to actually do it that time.
Do you feel that she helped motivate you to finally
Yes,
make that happen?
that's it. That's exactly what happened. I finally did it. And because I was in so much pain when she passed away, I was very close to my mom. And I started doing the work on myself, personal development, writing that book, doing the stuff. And that combination um, of doing the work and writing that book. And then then when it happened after the book came out, then I go, oh my gosh,
It
this is
worked.
how I can help. This is how I can help women. Oh my goodness, this is how I can do it. And that became my whole business.
I know, because you're knee deep in this woman who boss up thing
Yes,
and
yeah.
helping them, and I feel it, I hear it in your words. And you talked about, you listened and you heard, and you talked about God, and you when you have your networking sessions, which you have every Tuesday night for people who are interested in meeting women who are, want to learn more about how to to kind of boss up. I hear you use that word intuitiveness, and that you trust your intuition a lot more. Is that come from that journey?
Yes, it has. Well, the thing that I realize about women, particularly, is that we were given, and I just couldn't make up that I think the reason this is happening is because we have children and we need to have this sixth sense. We
Mhm.
need this intuition so loud. My mom was really intuitive, and I thought, wow, she was a superhero, right? I just thought that. But I realize that all women have this. But I don't think women are taught that they have this, right? And I think that's why we're attracted to energy work. We always call these things, these Reikis and these things. It really is another way of saying that women have this sixth sense. It's almost like it is a superpower,
Mhm.
right? And but we don't trust it. So especially when we're young, because you always had it. But we need to stop and listen, not be moving so fast, and pay attention, listen, and don't make a quick move because the right answer will come, and I learned that because I was famous for moving fast.
You do
Like
move fast.
I
You
still move fast,
I
but
can't, I'm trying
can
to
you
imagine what you
imagine
were when you weren't moving
faster?
as slow as you
Yes, I'm moving
as you
slower
fast are
now.
now.
I know. I was Speedy Gonzalez because I wanted to be so successful. Oh my gosh. I I bought five pieces of property in like freaking year. You
Does that
know?
The
Mhm.
success you talked about back then is monetary. It is success now. How do you define success? Is it just monetary? Is it a combination of many things?
So good. Good question. No, success now is being able to spend time with my family. Um being able to take care of myself physically, mentally, spiritually. Success now is different. Like, I don't want to have to work in my old age. So now I have the energy to make that so. Like, we're setting ourselves up so that when we retire, we can actually just enjoy our life and not have the stress. I have the energy now, right?
Mhm.
So getting it monetary is for the long haul, but really being able to spend time with my family, take care of myself spiritually, mentally, physically, money is not, interesting enough, my motivating factor. People might not realize that about me. Um, but I do want to be able to take care of my family and not have to be stressed out. My parents, they were entrepreneurs. They made a lot of money, but they did not know how to invest it properly. So when my dad got sick, then my mom got sick, it was bad news bears. I'm telling you, it was bad news. And I saw that as entrepreneurs, and I said, okay, I have to learn something else.
Yeah.
So
And
that's why
that's
I
where the
work hard
health
now.
comes in too, right? The
That's it.
monetary for the health and to
That's it.
maintain that health.
Hmm.
What gives you the greatest joy in what you do?
Oh man, there's so many little things. I I don't know about the greatest joys. I get so many little joys. I get joys when people um I could love when we hit bestseller every single time, not for myself, more for like everyone else. I get joy seeing confidence come from that. I watch the journey of other people that have been through my program, and I see them on the other side of it, and I go, "Oh my gosh!" I told one of the ladies in one of our books. I said, "I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen." And she comes back to me just recently and say, "Damn, it happened." That kind of stuff is such a thrill. Just to see people going through my same journey, maybe not so difficult the way I did, but me shortcutting it a little bit. Um, I just enjoy making an impact. I think that's what the biggest thing.
Did,
And finding my, you call it zone of genius, but finding your spot in the world, what you're
yeah.
supposed to be
Yeah.
doing. That's what I love.
Did you get back with your husband,
No,
or was that a different
no,
chapter in your life?
that was a different chapter. My first husband he was just not the right fit for me and my what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And I'm glad you brought that up, Hilda, because um, when one of my biggest fears was success back then.
Mhm.
My fear of success was that people would not like me, they would not appreciate me if I'm successful. Also, because I was raised in church, you start thinking, oh, love of money, all these kind of things you have in your mind about being successful. So that was a really scary thing. And here's the big one: my husband, I will never find love, because no man wants to be with a super successful woman. They don't want that. They
Mhm.
don't want this woman, this boss lady woman. That's just not what men want. And my kid's going to hate me because he's going to want me to go to the PTA and be like all the moms that are standing around after they drop their kids off. And I wasn't that woman, so it was scary. So I was slowing myself down. It was almost as if I could have almost just laid down and died, as opposed to it's either what I'm doing now or lay down and die. There's like
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
option. I can't do that in the middle. I'm not happy going to this job. That doesn't work for me. Just do what I'm doing now or just lay
Yeah.
down and die. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was a tough period of time, and
Hmm.
I thank you for sharing that because I know you're in a good relationship right now. So I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah.
if that was a success story turned around or a new chapter. And so for you to open up and share that with us, thank you, and,
Yes.
and to share it so deeply, saying I didn't know that I could be successful and
Hmm.
find what aligns with my values.
That's right.
And I guess that's probably leading into the next question is what is the one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self, given the journey that you've had? If you could tell that younger self way back then, this is what you should be
Mm,
doing.
yeah. Okay. I'm gonna answer it two ways. It's a great question because one, I would say to that younger person that everything you're going to go through is necessary to end you up where you're going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that stuff is going to be necessary. So just hold on. Just keep going and hold it on.
Yeah.
Another part of that question I would say is believe in yourself, right? Even earlier. Now, at the same time, I wouldn't change the journey that I had to go through,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, because I needed to go through all of that to be able to share the story, to be able to relate to others, to be able to get other people to
Yeah,
believe in themselves.
it's interesting because as I reflect on my journey, which is very eclectic in many, many different ways, I'm thinking, yeah, everything that I've done before has brought me to where I am today.
Mhm.
And I grab nuggets from the 8-year-old and the
Yeah.
20-year-old and the 15-year-old and the 30-year-old,
Yeah.
because all of those things are being used by me, whether
Yeah.
it's a positive lesson or a struggle that I went through.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to others who are embarking on their journeys? You've given us so much insight into you. Any advice that you would give other people?
Never give up. Never ever give up. I know it's a cliche, but never ever. It's better to never give up, die, and never realize what your potential is. I mean, I'm telling you this because it's better to keep trying to figure it out, right? And never figuring it out. I told my husband this just recently. I'm so glad I didn't give up. And now I know it's better, right? Because
Yeah.
eventually when you do get to this point where I'm at right now, it's so far superior from where you were. And it's better than that you had in your brain that it would be, you know? And the other thing is there is no there to get to. Okay. So that'll help you too, because if you're not there, well, there really is no there. All the little parts that you're going through now is part of the journey. So if you get a little opportunity to celebrate something, like you sent an email and they opened it, you can celebrate that. Woo! It's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. One of the things I like to share with my audience is, because I'm a human resources expert, I do like to ask my guests about HR. What are some of the HR tips and strategies that you would recommend to people? You've been an employee, you've been an entrepreneur, you've had people that you work with. What would you say are some of your tips and strategies to be, a healthier HR work environment
Mm.
or relationship environment?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good question. So, people are people.
Yes,
You have to
unpredictable.
understand they're unpredictable. Yep, they're definitely unpredictable. But they are people, and people are doing the best they can with what they have and what they know at the time, So that sometimes helps a lot, when you come upon something that's a little frustrating, or just realizing that everybody doesn't know what you know and everybody doesn't have the experience you have. And so I try to deal, because I was in operations for most of my career, which is slightly HR-ish, because I was an office operations person and I was running 3 offices, had 100 people reporting to me. So I try to keep that in mind. They want to be developed, they want to grow. Most people want to grow.
Mhm.
So if you give them opportunities to grow, see another place where they can go, and that you really do care about their growth, I think that helps with the relationships. A lot of times people don't realize, management doesn't realize that people are not just there to just get a paycheck and do their
Yeah,
best and go
yeah,
home. They want to grow, so that's important, to give
yeah,
them a
yeah.
plan.
And sometimes just spending the time as managers listening to where they want to grow, because
Hmm.
you have the power to find that within your organization if possible.
Yes.
It's like a
Yes.
marriage. Oh, I can help this person grow, and this is a win-win situation. And then they become like the spark lights in them. They become more productive and engaged, and they think you're a great boss because you listen. It's just a win-win situation. So
Exactly.
thank you for that nugget.
Hmm.
What would you say is your legacy? What is that at the end of when you decide that, okay, I want to spend more time just focusing on this and my entrepreneur stuff, let's put that behind and enjoy life. What would you say is the legacy you want to create?
Well, gosh, I already started working on it. Women Who Boss Up, right? I wanted to be a global impact. I want to get 250 books done. I want the world
250. You heard it here, guys.
250. Yeah,
She said it before, but
250
you heard it
books.
here too.
Yeah, 250 books. That means there's a lot of people that are impacted. I want the world to have seen that. But at the end of the day, I want people to know that women, not Tam, it's women. Women do boss up in all areas of life, all nationalities. They boss up. They believe in themselves, and that's what boss up means. They believe in themselves and never give up. So my legacy is just a very big global impact of that, so that other little girls will know that, and they'll feel empowered by not just me, but Hilda's face, and black female's face, or white female's face, and they will um, it'll help them in their life, and keep rippling to future generations.
I know you're already on your way. You're up to books 11 and 12 that you're working on, and it's amazing. And I certainly have admired how you have grown your Women Who Boss Up legacy. I feel very much a part of the alumni. I want to contribute it more when I can. So I'm on board with you, Tam, and I'm rooting for you to grow and make women around the world more confident in who they are.
Hmm.
What's next? What's coming up next for you, and how can people get a hold of you?
Yes. So what's next right now? I'm actually in the middle of writing a book called Right to Riches. I haven't written an actual book myself in quite a while, and I love to write. And it's so funny because I try to grab these little times, to write, and it's very few and far between. But hopefully that book will be coming out by the beginning of the year. I'm also working on a new platinum membership program within Women Who Boss Up. It's actually already there. It's already been said. Hilda's a part of it. All of my alumni authors, we stay connected still. We're finding each other on the speaking circuit, and so I want to make sure that they always have that connection, kind of like a sorority or basketball team or something like that. And so we're working on that. And we're working on growing quite a bit in different cities so that we can really be a little bit closer to the ground and helping women to boss up in their business. Where can you find me? You can look me up on as Tamar Luck, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, um, LinkedIn, Tam R. Luck. You can also find me as Women with Vision International on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being my guest today and really sharing your journey with us. And I know I asked some tough questions uh, that you were very generous in sharing some really tough situations. And I think it helps us who love to listen through storytelling that sometimes we're not alone,
That's
and
right.
and maybe they've learned something to help them feel that they can move forward in a way that they hadn't imagined. So
Thank
thanks,
you.
Tam, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And thanks to those of you who listen, because if you're like me, I love people. I love hearing about their stories. And I learn things from others when I hear stories, things that will help me, or because of what I've done in the past, have helped me understand my past a little bit better. Take it easy. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe. Don't feel free. Subscribe to rev up your potential, and have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for tuning in to Rev Up Your Potential with Hilda Gann. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and Spotify to stay up to date on our latest episodes. For HR tips, news, and strategies, Or if you're interested in being a guest on our podcast, visit our website at peoplebrightconsulting.com.